This house is set to make a profit of £100,000. Right now we're knee deep in this project with only a small delay on getting the roof replaced, but we are moving full steam ahead. The extension shell is almost done and we're about to hit the ground running with the interior. So, let's go have a look around. Welcome to the house. You probably have seen from the front garden that the rip out is well underway. I mean, technically this whole house is, I would say, about 4 weeks to 5 weeks off being completely done. The reason why it looks like it's only just got started is because the extension has taken longer than we thought. But the guys end up ripping the whole house out, ripping a bunch of stuff out, chucking it in the front garden to start with. And then when they realised how much crap there is, they just decided rather than just getting 3-4 skips, they would just dump it all on the front garden and then ask a company to come and just remove it all, which is fine. It looks hideous, but no one's complained so far. But this is how we're getting on. So this room, a bit like I said, just looks like all that's happened is we've just ripped stuff out. So the fireplace is gone, well, half the flooring's come up, and it's slightly the storage room at the minute. So we've got things like our shower here that's going to be installed. We've got tiles that we're going to be using. So we've also got the fire surround as well still that we are yet to get rid of. So there's all sorts of bits and pieces. It's kind of become the storage room at the minute. Again, like I said, the reason why it looks like we haven't got a long way, but we are actually almost done, is because we've been focusing on the externals. The extension itself was the priority. So getting the roof done, getting that fixed, that was kind of delayed by about a month, which was really frustrating. And then we got onto the extension and that's just flown up. So thought we would show you guys around and see what it looks like kind of midway. The fireplace, I'm not really sure what to do with. The existing fire surround, so just the bit that went around the outside, David, if you want to throw up a little clip of what it looked like before we ripped it off, it's still actually available. It's just sat over there. And we're wondering whether we actually want to paint it and put it back, because I think it could be quite a nice feature for the Victorian style of house that it is. Or do we just plasterboard it and put like a timber beam across the top and fill it with logs or something, you know, something like that, a bit more modern. But I quite like the idea of doing something a bit more traditional. Let me know your thoughts if you've got any in the comments. So the roof was delayed because it's Manchester and apparently it's not sunny all the time. So because of the rain, it just kept on. There was just so many days where the guys just couldn't work. So really frustrating, but it is what it is when you live in Manchester. Again, this room's pretty straightforward. We've had the fireplace come out. That wasn't as nice and it wasn't a bit as much of a feature as the one in the other room. So I think what we're just gonna do is hollow this, well, it's already hollowed out, but board it all off, plaster it and put like a timber frame over. So the plan with the whole space is that this is just gonna be one big open plan living area and kitchen area. So probably the idea would be that you'd have all of this side of the house leading up to the bifolds, as you could use it for just a big open communal space with dining table, maybe space for sofas, that sort of thing. And then over on this side, we've got the kitchen. In fact, we actually had the kitchen designed yesterday and we're waiting for it to be finalised, and then we're going to get it ordered, I think, from Howdens. Although I am second guessing whether we go with a company called DIY Kitchens, because I've heard very good things about them. Never used them. If you have used them, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I've not used them before, but I've heard very, very good things from very reliable sources. Anyway, the idea is going to be that the kitchen is going to come all the way along here like an L shape, and then with an island there in the middle. So it's kind of big and opened out into the communal space as well. We have no wall. We were always going to do this, but we've knocked through. We've currently got these guys holding up the wall above us so that we don't get crushed. We are waiting for steel beam to come so that we can put that in, and then we're also waiting on the steel beam across the back. So the problem we've got is this wall's coming out, and you might be able to catch a little glimpse of the extension, but this wall is coming out. But before it does, we obviously need to make sure the steel's ready to support the supporting wall on the outside. The problem is that this, from that side all the way through to that side. Yeah, so it'll weigh half a ton to get that one piece of steel in. So what we've got a splice detail. So we're actually gonna split this into two, I think. So we're gonna split it into two different pieces of steel, and then we kind of fix it together after we've kind of got it installed. So that's the fix, but we're just waiting on that for that to arrive. We needed the structural engineer to give us the correct kind of calculations to make sure that that was right. We've got those now, and now they are, the steels are being made as we speak. Well, we'll obviously have to run around and show you, but there is where we're up to with the extension. We'll show you a bit more of that later. If you step into here, or at least I will, this was just part of the kitchen. So you'd walk into the kitchen, and then if you turned around, the fridge was here. We had units here all the way around in the kitchen space, ripped all of that out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a stud wall here. A door is gonna be put here so that from the hallway you can walk in, and we've plumbed in for a toilet to go here, basin to go here, and then the wash machine and a dryer is gonna go here. So it's gonna become a bit of a utility room / downstairs toilet. The reason why we've bricked up here is because we are actually going to be putting a window in. However, just for security reasons, the team have just thrown a few breeze blocks in just to lock it all up and lock it off so nobody can break in whilst we wait for the windows to turn up. But once the windows are here, I think we're going to be going like this and cutting out a little space and putting like a frosted glass window in so that you've got light into this utility room. So here we are in the basement. I don't know if you can throw up a video of the old boiler and also where there was a sleeping bag. But as you can see, we have new boiler, new ideal boiler, and we've bricked up where that lovely sleeping bag was. And in fact, we've still got that sleeping bag, just for the memories. I might keep it. But that's all that's happened in this basement. This is where the door's gonna be, going into the utility room. And then if you follow me, we have a little bit of progression on the bathroom. I'm not gonna step in because I don't know how set the tiles are, but hopefully you can visualize a little bit of what that's going to be like if you want to have a little poke with your head around. Try and explain it to you if you can see. We're going to have one long tall radiator here. You can see the bottom of it there where it's been first fixed in. We're going to have the sink in here, and then maybe a big mirror on this side. And then yeah, we've decided to go with a shorter, because if you remember the bathroom itself is actually very small. I don't know if it looks small on the camera, but it is small. The way that we did it provisionally was that the bath went lengthways like that, but we've decided to go this way because it just means that you create a bit more space to then put, as we say, radiator there, sink and basin there. Why do I keep calling it the sink and the basin? It is the sink. And then we're gonna have the toilet just here on the left as you come in. This room here is, again, a little bit like the lounge downstairs. It's become the storage room for upstairs stuff. So we've got things like the worktop for the unit that the basin's gonna go on. There you go. Get your words out. Got some of the tiles there, some of the pipe work. So it's just become a bit of a storage space. On the ceiling, you can see that we did have an issue with damp because there was a leak from the roof. We've boarded that, plastered it, fixed the electrics, and put a little light in there, so that should be all good. Yeah, that's nice and bright. We had to chase out some of the cracks just from any, like a little bit of movement over time, nothing bad, but just as and when plaster cracks from getting warm and then getting cold and it being empty for like 4 years, there were cracks throughout the house. So we've chased those out, filled them in, plastered, skimmed, to make it nice and smooth, ready for the decorator. We're going to be putting in, obviously, a new door frame. And in here, we have the freshly plastered wall. We've got the old bath, again, storage until it gets removed. But again, nothing's really happened to this room. A lot of the rooms actually, where we've kind of done a little patchwork of plastering, and it's a bit like this. Really, there's not a whole lot to do because we're going to be cleaning up the radiators and painting them. We're going to be painting the room and we're going to be putting down flooring. So there isn't a whole lot to be done, which is why it looks like not a lot has happened. But That's because not a whole lot was ever going to happen in this room. Now what you will notice is this nice big chunky crack and this nice big chunky crack. So, and in fact, let me show you around here as well. So bear in mind, that was just there. If you have a look, there's also 2 more nice big chunky cracks. And again, this room is one of those ones where not a lot has happened to it, apart from we've got some new added cracks in there. The reason why these cracks have appeared since buying the house, and the reason why I'm not concerned about it, is because this is the wall that is directly above the wall that we've removed. So of course there's going to be ever so slightly a little bit of movement. Once everything's in, well now it's all secured, it's fine, but obviously when you're removing structural walls and you're having to prop it up, there is going to be that ever so slight bit of disturbance to the walls, which is why we've started getting these cracks, but it's why I'm not concerned about them, because that's going to be stilled up and fully secure, and once it is, we're going to again chase out those cracks, plaster over it, and fill in the cracks, and it'll all be fine. So in terms of a timeline of when we got started on this, this was started at the end of January. So that was when we started on the roof. We didn't do anything else until the roof was done, and as I say, that was delayed about a month. So end of February, start of March. The guys started on the extension and started on the internals. I think it was around the first week into March. So we're just over a month in. So if you think we're just over a month in and things are looking pretty good, I mean, they're not, they're looking terrible, but they're very close to looking very good. It's one of those, it has to look a lot worse before it gets better. But that's why I'm thinking we're probably only 4-5 weeks off, because once the extension's been done and it pretty much is there, it's just a case of waiting for those steels. Once we've got them, we're smashing the walls out and it's full steam ahead with the internals. So there've been times where I've come around, there's been about 8 guys on site doing different jobs. So there's a big team, they're moving fast, and they're doing a really, really good job, so I'm happy. Should we go have a look at the extension? As you can see, this is the kitchen here, and then this is the dining room. This entire wall is coming out. We're bringing it all the way to here. We've got bifold doors. We're going to have 4 big bifold doors that are going to run all the way along here, letting in a lot of natural light. The other thing is as well, when I was in there, I was thinking to myself, it's super, super dim and dingy. It's not going to be like that once we get rid of all of this. You know, this is going to completely open it up and brighten up the whole space. And it's a pretty dark and dim, miserable day. And for us to be getting this much light in, it's pretty good. And this is kind of how much light we will be getting in. So we've got the L-shaped kitchen that's going to come to here. This is where the sink's going to be, by the window, and it's going to run all the way along and into there, all the way up to that utility room. Yeah, this is the space. It's around 18 square meters, the extension. You can see we've got the Velux windows in, 3 good-sized Velux windows that are electric, so you've got a little remote to open those. But it's looking good, I'm really happy with it. Also, whilst everything was getting done, I was slightly concerned about the garden, and I mean, it doesn't look great right now, but trust me when I say it actually looked a lot worse a couple of weeks ago. But we're gonna be getting, and this is the big issue, we're gonna be getting it all landscaped. The big problem we've got is, I don't know if you can quite see this, from where you are, but there is a huge gap between the level of the house and the level of the garden. So in order, because otherwise what we'll have is we'll have bifold doors that you have to jump like about 1 meter down into the garden. So probably going to need to get about 3 steps going down into that garden space, and then it just makes sense to then have a bit of a patio area and a bit of garden space, a bit of grass. So yeah, we need to figure that out once we are done with the extension. But I'm excited to see how it all turns out. I think, like with every project, this has to look a lot worse before it looks better. And if you've got the ability to picture it, which I feel like I do, I think it's going to look really good. I think it's going to look really, really good once it's done. Probably going to be one of the bigger renovations I've done recently. So hopefully it's going to look nice. I'll be able to show you the afters in 4 or 5 weeks. Get it all wrapped up. I'm excited.